Whenever I'm wearing this shirt, whenever I'm wearing this Boysies shirt, I know it's going to be a good day. And today, we're talking about zoom. And I just had this thought all day, I couldn't stop thinking about it, was, is there a perfect level of zoom for each subject? And what does that look like? So if we take a photo and we start really zoomed up to 1 pixel, let's say it's a face, and we zoom out and we zoom out and we zoom out. And pretend we don't have a camera, let's just keep zooming out and as far as we can. Is there a point, a theoretical point, where that subject is at its optimal? I have no idea. So I was quite intrigued by that question, and today's more just a discussion. I'm going to go through some examples now of photos that I've taken, and I've basically played around with different crop levels, zooming around, and we're going to have a look at if there is an answer to this question with a lion. And this was on the zoo trip, so this is the first photo of the lion, okay? And what we're going to do now is we're going to play around, and then what we've done is we zoomed in on his face because we've decided that the lion is the subject in this photo. Then it's obviously pixelated, but we've zoomed out because we're adding a little bit more around him because that photo's not the best. Although interestingly, this photo on its own could make a great shot if we were positioned accordingly, just because of the way he's tilted his head back. But then we add in a bit more trees, and we add in trees on the other side, seeing which side looks better. Then we go higher, add trees up the top, and now we're starting to get quite a different image from that first image. Then we add some more trees and playing around with some rule of thirds there until we're sort of back to the original photo. And what I'm trying to figure out here is there some magical point when I zoom in? Is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Is there a threshold where that's actually the best shot? Not this, something like that. Or potentially, I go even further out. I can't really do it, but I zoom out further. Perhaps that's an even better photo. Let's do another example. This is the original photo. And we've got a snarl, and the way he's raised his cheek up is an interesting point. Zooming in on that, we can sort of see now it's actually the left cheek that's giving it the whole, and the left eye that is the key part of the subject. So now once we get to that point, we start to zoom back out until we've got quite a different shot already there that actually conveys quite a lot of what I was trying to convey. It's got the snarl. Now we're adding a bit more of his afro, and again afro on the other side. And then probably too much afro there. So I think that photo is probably better than that photo, which is probably better than the original. So what we can say there is maybe that crop's better. Here's a photo from India. This is in Chennai. And now, here we go. So now we're zooming in on traffic, and what this initially does is it sort of draws your eyes more to the cars and what's going on with the traffic, and then you sort of see on the periphery the footpaths, things like that. This is just picking one random scene from there. And I know it's pixelated, but potentially if I was there with my camera, is that a better photo than what I originally looked to shoot? I don't know. Looking out to the left, we can sort of say if we were photographing here, there's not really much going on to the left. It's got quite a lot of rubbish out there. So perhaps going on the bridge and shooting that way might be interesting. But looking up there, there's actually quite a cool building over to the left that I didn't notice when I was shooting. But that on its own could make a great shot. Going out to the right of the photo, and you can sort of see by doing this the buildings take priority and the traffic sort of fades back. And then we're sort of cutting out the bridge from the photo, and now we're looking at the traffic. And this is a cropped version of the original photo, and then we're sort of slowly building back to this photo. And so in this photo there's a lot going on, so I feel like this technique is more helping you to potentially choose a cool subject in the future. Like if I was to go back right now and shoot that, I would probably try and shoot just this building and potentially stand here and shoot that way. Could be a cool shot. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So here we've got two people in India again waiting, and as we can see we've sort of got this contrast of these two people, one person standing in the doorway, one person standing this way. This person's looking off this way and this person's looking off this way, and it's sort of contrasted quite nicely with this There's a bit of symmetry going on, but playing around with the crops, I was trying to figure out what here is the interesting part of the photo. And for me, the thing that draws it is the shadow and this pose and the way that this person's sort of coming here, but also the fact that you don't know what this person's looking at. Now, that's sort of zooming in on it again, and then where I'm just playing around with different crops, and this is closer to the original. Then I thought, well, what if you just cropped out that completely? And then, as you can see here, this on its own is quite an interesting shot. And then we're zooming in on different elements until we get right down to the individual bags. So as we go from that threshold back to here, is there a prime shot? And potentially it's cropping right along here, right along here. That is exactly what we need to convey that. Here's a scary one. This is a gannet, and this is an extreme close-up. And what I did is just work backwards on the theory until we get to that shot. And this is the original shot that I took. But I was trying to figure out, is that a better photo? I don't know. It sure helps you to look at things differently. So if we start right in here, you can see his eye, and we get a lot more detail. And maybe if we cropped it like that, and then we keep going back. Is there a magic point at which this photo gets better? Am I even too close to that bird? Here again with the bird flying. So we start with the zoomed in vision. We zoomed out, and we zoom out. Now this effect, I feel like this places emphasis on the ocean. And it almost seems like this bird's returning home from a big flight to all his friends down here. And again, this makes it even more about the ocean with the big swells and things like that. But if you crop on the other side, suddenly it becomes more about all the friends that are here, and this guy's sort of the odd one out, and the ocean starts to fade to the background. And now we're starting to get a bit more of a balance between the two. And personally, I probably prefer this because it's got more of the birds going on. And then this is the original shot that I took. So an architecture example now quickly. Here's the original photo I took. And then this is starting again with the same concept. It's looking at a feature, zooming right in. That's too close, there's not much going on there. But as soon as you go back here, that's actually quite a cool photo. And then as we go back a little bit, is that actually the perfect distance away to make the photo that you're looking for? And then this is closer to the original this shot here is closer to the original that I took. One last example with the flamingo. Here's the original photo. Moving him around, starting with a zoomed in form of that photo, and as you can see, that's quite a different shot to that. Now we're starting to give space around the flamingo, space on the back side. I think I prefer when he's positioned on the left like this. I quite like that shot. Moving him down there, I don't know if I like that as much. And then as you can see, I was just playing around. This is probably cropped too far to the left hand side. This is definitely cropped too far up in the corner, but still something interesting. And then this is moving him over to the other side, and again in the other corner. This exercise has helped me to think about the frame, because often when I'm grabbing my camera and I'm just looking at something, I'm basically just instantly just shooting something that appeals. And I'm sort of roughly basically placing a subject somewhere. I'm not really thinking about it from this context. But the more I'm photographing, the more I'm realizing that by really filling the frame and getting closer, you're drawing the eye to the exact thing you want, and you're not leaving it up to chance. And you're not leaving the viewer to put their eye somewhere and get a different story to you. That's basically, this whole video is just trying to move on from literally just the rule of thirds to thinking about composition and thinking about size of subject. So anyway, in terms of takeaways, I recommend that you play around with this zoom level both in real life when you're taking photos and when you're editing photos. Go in for extreme crops, like zoom in ways that you know aren't going to work, but I think it creates quite cool results. On that seagull, for example, I would never ever zoom in on that bird that close, or the flamingo. But when I did it, it actually created quite a cool effect that I didn't think about, because sometimes when you're photographing, you'll take the photo, you'll edit the photo, and your edit will be in a line roughly with how you took the photo. But cropping, it almost feels like you're taking a different photo. Anyway, that's enough of that video. It was just an idea I had and I really wanted to get out to you. I'm really keen to hear what you think about it. Thanks for watching everyone. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.